Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. That came out in 2016. And the thing about this movie to me is I really, really wish that it wasn't made by Michael Bay. Now, here's my thing about Michael Bay. I think he has made good movies before. I mean, The Rock is awesome, and he's got some great popcorn films that I enjoy. Like I still enjoy the first Transformers movie, even though I think all the other ones aren't very good at all. And you know, the guy is a visual master. There's no question about it. I mean, his storytelling ability to me is not great. He kind of reminds me a lot of Zack Snyder in that regard. But the guy can put together a beautiful looking film. The problem to me is that was not the right person to tell this story. For those of you who don't know what this movie is about, it is a very, very much talked about incident in which there is a military installation, or a American installation is what I should say, in Libya that there's two of them that ends up getting attacked, right? And there is a group of people there who are civilians there that are sent to protect the people, and they are they're attacked out of absolutely nowhere. They don't see it coming, and they have to try to fight off basically a raid. And they travel to destination A. They get what they can from there, go to destination B, and try to hold off these group of militants that want to kill them and destroy them and use the base for their own purposes. And it reminds me a lot of like when you think of like some of the classic movies of like medieval times, where you see the people inside the castle and the forces outside trying to get in. It's very similar in that regard. And the thing about the movie too is, I mean, obviously these are people. This is a true story, and these are real people, and real people died, and it's a tragic event. It's awful that things come to this around the world, and there are moments in this movie that are extremely affecting, like the scenes where people die, and to see the reactions. John Krasinski is probably the best known actor in it, and his reaction to the death of one of his friends is extremely affecting. But the problem is this movie is much more, to me, it's much more in love with the visuals of the war. Like there's a moment where like I said, somebody ends up dying, and they follow the ordnance that takes them out. Like it's like there's a camera attached to it, and it's flying at them, and it looks really, really cool. And you're watching it, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, "Wow, that visual is amazing." And I do understand there is some worth to it, because it does kind of give you the perspective of, you know, this is just an object coming towards that person, and yes, it results in their death, but it is really just an object like anything else, right? The problem is, it kind of takes you out of the moment of, wow, this real person just died on screen, or representation of them does. You're more looking at the filmmaking and less looking at the story, and that's a problem, right? And then like there's other moments in this movie that are so ham-fisted. Like there's one of the last shot of this movie is of an American flag in a pool, looking like obviously it's been torn asunder and ripped down, and it's been desecrated in effect, and it's so heavy-handed, and like that's just what didn't need to be there. Like I understand that that there's a lot of emotion in the American flag for a lot of people, and obviously I'm Canadian, so I don't have the same feelings towards it as other people do. So I'm sure that there are people there that it was very effective in making them well up, or making them feel very angry at the situation, and they absolutely should have been. The fact that these people were killed like that is just outrageous and horrific. But to me, if you feel like as a director that you've had to put something like that in there that is very manipulative on the face of it, in order to get people to have those emotions in a story that should have brought it out of them by itself, that's a failure on every level to me. And uh, right after that is shown, there are these stills of the actual people involved in this event, and updates on how it affected them. And like, if you felt like you needed to put that there in order to get people to care about the, like, there's just a disconnect there. Like, why they put that in there? And like, it's like I said, it's the final shot, so you can say it is a spoiler. And if you're upset that I told you that because of the spoiler, I apologize. But it is just a throwaway shot at the very end of the film. But to me, it's very indicative of what this movie's like. Now, I will say that there are definitely parts of it that are very well done. Like, the battles are shot immaculately, and they give you there are parts where you definitely feel like you can really kind of put yourself in the situation. You can empathize with what that might feel like. I mean, obviously, somebody who's never been in that kind of situation, even thinking for a moment that they may have some kind of idea, is just ridiculous. But it puts you, it makes you try to get into what that headspace might feel like, which is definitely something worthy of doing. But uh, other than that, and there are definitely some very good performances in this movie. But to me, I just thought it was a failure. I don't think it's a terrible movie. It just wasn't what it should have been. Like, I just wish this was in the hands of a better filmmaker, a better storyteller, because I think that this is a story that definitely deserves to be told. And you could say that about almost any military engagement like that, and it is a military engagement because it's militants going in trying to kill American people who are heavily armed, and they may not be part of the military, but it's militaristic at the very least. And any situation like that deserves to be told and deserves to be given the level of storytelling that I don't think was here. So those are my thoughts on this movie. Like I said before, I by no means am I by belittling the film, or not even belittling, but pointing out the mistakes in the film. In my view, by no means am I trying to diminish the actual events. And I sincerely hope that nobody would be offended by my thoughts on the movie. But it's a movie, and when I look at it, I gotta take it under its own worth. And to me, I just think it wasn't great. It didn't do what it should have. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Please hit that like button. It does awesome things for my channel. And hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. It'll make it so you know when I put videos out, and that would be awesome. Other than that, have yourself a nice day.